Good morning, good morning, good morning to each and every one of you. It is your girl, Shaniqua Inspires, and I'm here. I thank you all for your prayers and your well wishes on yesterday. I could not get up. I could not get on the line yesterday. I was having such pain, but I am grateful. I give God glory for this day, for it is a new day. Let me turn my hot pack down a little bit. I got my heating pad on my back this morning, but to God be the glory. It's a beautiful day here in New York City. The hair is herring. I finally took those. I had it in three big plaits for braids for new school who don't know what plaits are. I had it in three big braids for my surgery, and I had those three braids tied into one so that it was easy to just kind of flip up and make a bun and it could maneuver underneath the surgical bonnet. But I finally took them out because I had a podcast interview yesterday, and so the hair is totally herring this morning. We don't know what it's doing, but we're gonna let it do what it do because eventually the bonnet will get back on it. But to God be the glory. I'm here today. It's a nice day, so it seems, here in New York City. And I'm going to be a good girl today. I don't believe I have anything on my agenda, but honestly, I don't even really be looking at my agenda that much lately because I am committed to resting. So I'm kind of hoping I don't have anything on the agenda for today. I'm kind of hoping. At the top of mind, I don't believe I have anything on the agenda today. So I can stay right here in my bed and I can rest. So I thank you all for the prayers. The prayers of the righteous indeed availeth much. So okay, so let me tell you the story as to how and why I missed on yesterday, because on Tuesday I ended up going to my doctor for a follow-up appointment, and it was a lot. Good morning to Shara. Blessings to you this morning. So I went to my doctor's appointment for a follow-up, and I had to get in the car. I had to ride 30 minutes. I had to get out the car, had to go upstairs, I had to sit, I had to wait. Not a long time, but I had to sit, I had to wait. I had to get up, I had to go in the room, then I had to get down from the chair, get out the building, get back in the car, sit, drive another 30 minutes to get home, get out the car, up the steps. So it was quite a bit of activity on Tuesday. And even though I didn't feel that bad, I think in the moment we kind of push ourselves. So sometimes we don't notice when there's an actual problem because we're just in grind mode, we're in push mode, we're in perseverance mode. And so I didn't really realize, all that I had did on Tuesday. And but I felt good to have been up and out of the house and to get some fresh air, as fresh as it can get in New York City, but to get some air and to be able to, to feel like you were kind of getting your normalcy back. And then that night, like when I finally settled down, I started feeling, cramping, but I'm like, you know what? It's nighttime. I'm going to go to bed. And so I put my heating pack or ice pack, I don't even know which one I used, on my incision, and I just went to sleep. And as I was sleeping, I could feel like the sharp pains, and um, I didn't feel good. And I was up. I got up, like I woke up early, and I had to get up and go to the bathroom, and I was in pain, and there was just sharp shooting pains in my abdomen. And I just laid back down. And so my alarm went off to let me know. My alarm went off to let me know that it was time to get up and do the live. And I was laying flat on my back. And I have all of these pillows in my bed, but I was literally laying flat on my back and I could not get up. I could not get up. I didn't feel like getting up. I didn't feel like pushing. I didn't feel like persevering. I didn't feel like being a trooper. I didn't feel like taking one for the team. All I felt like was laying flat and being in the moment of my intense pain. And so I put up the message that I wasn't going to be doing my live, and the prayers started going up. And I'm so grateful for the prayers. I thank you all for your prayers and your deep concerns and well wishes. And so finally I decided to get up, go to the bathroom, because it seems as though, like, as soon as my bladder fills up, and if I'm the slightest bit aware that my bladder is full, it makes the pain all the more intense. So I had to get up again. I went to the bathroom and I was like, you know what, since I'm up, let me take some Motrin. So I took to my Motrin and I still was in a lot of pain. I was going to have a 9:30 meeting and I had to cancel the 9:30 meeting because I was still in pain. Even after I've taken the Motrin, I was still in a lot of pain. And truth be told, I was in a lot of pain up until about 12 o'clock. And then at 12, I finally said, you know what? I got things to do. Like, I can't just lay here flat on my back, whining and complaining about the pain. Like, I got stuff I had to do. Good morning, Carol. Blessings to you. So I decided at about 12 o'clock yesterday to get up. I had the Motrin. The Motrin had been in my system for like 3 hours, but it was barely touching the pain. And so I sat up. I had a meeting with one of my team members, and I needed to do it. I needed to, and I could have easily postponed the meeting, but I needed to do it. That's a part of entrepreneurship. That's a part of the business. That's a part of my ministry. I had to have this meeting. So rather than pushing it off, I just went ahead and toughened up, sat up, had the meeting, and then after the meeting, lay back down. In fact, after the meeting, I started feeling a little bit better, and I was able to, but I rested. I rested until later in the afternoon. Then once I was really feeling better and the sharp pains had stopped, that is when I got up and started doing some work. So honestly, I think it could have been the high activity that took place on Tuesday that caused me to be so uncomfortable on Wednesday. You kind of would think that the pain would have happened, immediately after or during the activity on Tuesday, but for some reason it didn't. It didn't affect me until Wednesday. And that is why I missed my live with you all. And I hate missing my live with you all because I just love, I feel like it's a community. I feel like we are bonding together. So I don't like to miss that time. But I am so grateful for everyone who was praying, praying for me. I literally can feel the prayers. I can, and I thank God for them. And I am committed to getting my rest. I am. It may not seem like I am, but I promise I truly am. But there are things that I have to get done. Like last night, I was a guest on let me look it up because I don't want to say it the wrong way. I'm gonna tell you guys in just a minute. Just a minute. Let me see. Uh, oh, okay. There we go. Good. I'm glad I checked it because I would have said it wrong. I was a guest on the Unfiltered Unspoken podcast. Unfiltered Unspoken podcast. So I had this arranged for, I want to say, about a month. And matter of fact, I had this arranged prior to the surgery. And I thank God that it didn't conflict with my surgery date. And I just figured, well, I should be up and running. But me and my timeline, I figured I would be up and running by, yesterday. But the reality set in that no, you can't be up and running. But I was committed to doing that podcast interview. So yesterday evening, I did get up and I took one for the team, and I put my makeup on my face. That's why the hair is herring. And I'm actually glad I had the wisdom to tie, like to braid it down so that my curls are still somewhat here. I probably just need to hit it with a little mousse, and they'll come back to life, so I can still be pretty for a little bit. But yeah, so I have there's things that I have to do, but I thank God. Thank you, Carol. But I thank God for you know moments, where I do feel good, and I'm able to get stuff done. I took care of a lot of stuff for my business yesterday, and I'm grateful. I'm grateful to still be able to do it. So today is a rest day, and if I do some work, it won't be until my body gives me the green light to say, okay, get the computer, let's get some stuff done. So I'm gonna be a good girl today, and I'm gonna rest. And my mom is coming to just check in on me and make certain that I'm good, making sure these boys are taking good care of me. And I am appreciative of her for doing that, and I'm looking forward to that. So maybe I'll look and see if there's any work that I need to do, and I can do that work immediately after this, and then I can rest. And then when my mom comes over, I can socialize, and then I can take the day piece by piece. Thank you so much. Thank you, Carol. I greatly appreciate it, and to God be the glory. A lot of times I just sit back and I'm in awe of God. I'm in awe of what He does and how He does it, and when He does it. And as much as we want to control the who, what, when, where, and why, and how, we know that we can't. We just have to process and move along. This morning, because what I like to do first thing in the morning, which is probably not the best of first thing in the morning activities to do, but what I like to do in the morning is I like to go and clear up my red notifications. For some reason, red notifications annoy me, and so that's like my first action first thing in the morning, like after I've prayed and gotten up and done everything, taking care of all my hygienic stuff. I like to get on my phone and I like to clear up the notifications. I don't like to have a bunch of emails highlighted, and this morning I had 12. Now I got 13, so I don't like to see those red notifications. So part of the day is to go in, and so I stopped in on Instagram because I normally tend to have inbox messages, and um, I went in there, and the first post was one of a young lady that I had met. We had met at um, a speakers. Yeah, that's where it was. I had went to a speakers training. It was a mastermind in Florida, and I had met this beautiful spirit, this beautiful woman. Um, and on my Instagram feed, the first post that was there was that she lost her husband. And I was like, wow, Lord, because she actually has a business, and about finding love again, and she's got an amazing love story. Um, and surrounding her and how her and her husband connected. And he transpired. And I just was like, wow, God, like, man. And it reminded me, a dear sister friend of mine's, someone I'm very, connected to. She recently lost her husband. And I'm like, what is going on with all of these spontaneous losses? Right? It's wild to me. There was just a plane crash in Washington, DC. And I'm like, what is like this is how 2020, let me just I'm not no conspiracy theorist or whatever, but this is the way 2020 kicked in. Because I remember with the death of Kobe Bryant, that was like, everything was going great. The new year had just popped in and we were all happy and everything. And then boom, we hear about the plane crash that took the lives of all of those people that were on that plane with Kobe Bryant. And then all hell broke loose and we had the pandemic and this, that. Oh my goodness. And so here we are with another plane crash. I'm like, Father, what is going on? And it just makes me more grateful, if I can say it like that. It makes me more grateful for every little moment. The good, the not so good. I'm just grateful for every moment. And even a moment of intense pain and discomfort, I was still grateful because it can always be worse. It could always be worse. And I was just grateful that taking some over the counter medicine could handle it. Exactly, Tashara. Like, we really do have to stay prayed up. And when the Bible says that we should pray without ceasing, it's not that you have to stay in this posture all day, all night, and everything, but it is about how to commune with God in our head. So we're these beautiful multifaceted entities that we can walk and chew gum at the same time. It's that kind of a thing. Like, we can literally stay revering God in our minds and in our hearts, right? It's like a constant flow that transpires while we're getting up, taking the kids to school, going to work, waiting for the bus, waiting for the subway, helping someone out. Like, it's a continuous flow that occurs, even when. But and I know this because it wasn't always like this for me. It was, you pray in the morning, you get up, you go on about your day, or you pray at night, you go to sleep, you get up, you go on about your day. It was, oh, if something was going on, that's when you communicated, that's when you prayed to God. But we literally have to pray without ceasing, because we never know. We don't know the time, we don't know the hour, we don't know what is about to happen. And I told you guys, I told you this a while ago, but I used to be up and walking and talking. You know, I said I'm always like, I feel like I'm doing this juggling, like this three ring circus, because like I'm having a conversation with you all, but then like I'm hearing things in my head, and I'm like, Holy Spirit, like, okay. And then I have to decipher whether I'm going to say the thoughts that float in my head, or if I'm going to, table that for another time. So I'm sitting here and I'm talking, and I can just literally hear these thoughts in my head. And I'm like, oh, MG. And again, today is not the day that I'm trying to, I'm not on this conspiracy theorist or whatever, but it does stem from a conversation that I was having yesterday. I was talking to the host of the Unfiltered Unspoken podcast, and I was having a conversation with her, and she was telling me that the executive order came in, and we know this because we've been watching it on our news feeds. We've been, watching it on the news and things of the such, on our timelines, I should say, but the executive order came in for the people who had been working remote for years, for years. So since 2020, here we are in 2025. That's 5 years. We're getting ready to get into 5 years, and why we needed a presidential order. I don't understand how the hierarchy in our society works. Why is it that we need a presidential order to say go back to work? Good morning, Joyanne. I don't understand it. Why is it the highest quote unquote authority in the land? Why is it that we need an order from that level to say we need to go back to work? Why is it that the businesses, the industries can't make that decision based off of their constituents, their employees, right? I don't understand that, but we see it happening. We see it on our timelines. We're hearing about it on the news, on the radio, things of that nature. So I was having a conversation with the host. Demetria Good, and I was having a conversation with her, and she was telling me that the executive order came in, and so where she's homeschooling her, her daughter, and now she's got to go back to work. And I'm like, you sit up in this high office and you start making these decisions that, if you think it's going to increase productivity, increase business structure, but you're literally reverting or disrupting people's livelihoods, because many of people, when they had no choice but to come home, and then they had to manage the children and their schooling at home. So you literally imploded on people's lives. And now, people who normally went to work and focused on work, now they had to focus on what their kid was doing in school, because they were now parents, they were employees, and they were teachers or teachers assistants. And it changed the dynamic of people's lives. It literally changed the dynamics of people's lives, and people adjust. That's the beautiful thing about us as individuals, as human beings. We are very resilient. We are very fortified, where we can take something, and instead of it breaking us, we can become stronger by it. And so many people rearrange their lives. And this young lady was telling me that um, she started homeschooling her daughter. So they now built their family dynamic around, okay, I'm home, I'm working remotely, I'm still managing the child in the schooling, everything is going well. And now all of a sudden, the executive order. Exactly, Carol. Now all of a sudden the executive order is coming in, and it's saying y'all have to go back to work. So now it totally shifts the family dynamic once again. As if it didn't shift already, now it's a disruption. Now people are going to carry that stressor of, what do I do? How do I rearrange life again for the family? What does this mean? So what does it mean for all of these parents who decided to homeschool their kids? Now the kids got to go back into the school buildings. They got to go back into the school buildings. So it is, they call it psychological warfare. That's what it was being called. It was called psychological warfare, where you create these struggles in people, in their mind, even though it's not a physical attack, so to speak. It's the struggle, it's the burden, it's the multitasking, it's the multi-managing, it's the shifting and figuring out a game plan. Should I take the stipend to, be bought out? Should I, just go back to work? Should I reshift? So it's putting all of this undue pressure back on people's minds. And so the executive order comes in. And I'm not saying nothing, whether it's good or bad. I'm not, that's not what I'm speaking about. All I'm speaking to is how it rearranges, how it rearranges the dynamic. When I was working at my corporate job, one of the things that they were speaking about was us going back into the office. And honestly, for me, that no longer worked. After making the adjustment and being home for, 3 years, going back in the office was not something that I was any longer interested in. Sure, when I started the job, that's what I did because that's what was out there. But then once I got a taste of the being at home, I felt as though I was a better manager of my household. And because a lot of times I would be sitting at work and there wouldn't be anything necessarily important and potent for me to do at work. And I was like, man, I could be getting my dinner ready. I could be putting a load of laundry in, at this moment in time. But yet here I am sitting here looking into the sky, miscellaneously trying to find something to do because there wasn't always something to do. Once you got prepared, it was done, and I felt as though it was an unbalance. It was not a good balance for my work and my life. So me working and me, you know, my home life, it was not balanced. It wasn't balanced. And so when we were remote, it was good. And anytime they would start talking about, oh, we're going to be bringing you back in the office soon, I was like, yeah, that's not conducive to me anymore. And for you to dictate and for you to dictate that I would have to didn't sit well with me. That's why I got freedom written up on my wall, because I'm like, what kind of dictatorship is this? Right? That you don't even listen to the needs and the wants of your people, and not everybody, because some people had the life. Some people had the life because I had a coworker, I had a coworker who worked remotely, had the same position, same title as I, but she was working remotely before the pandemic because that was one of her negotiating when they wanted her to come to work, that they allowed her to work from home 3 days and she worked in the office for two. She also had a schedule where she got out by 2 o'clock, and everybody else had to work till 5. So it's not that you can't make the accommodation. That's what they showed. They showed their hands now. It's not that you can't make the accommodations. You don't want to make the accommodations. You may accommodate one to get what you want, but you're not going to try to accommodate everybody. That's what they were showing. And so that's not the point that I wanted to make, but I understand that plight of now you got to rearrange life again when the talks come up about, you going back into the office. So after having this conversation with this, yeah, it's true, but there were many people who were, and so Carol is saying, a lot of people, when they're working from home, they don't treat it like work. Right? You hear all the noise and everything going on. But to be honest, when work still need to transpire, you had to make do with it. You got the dog. The dog barks throughout the day. And yeah, now that you're home working, so you literally took your work life and it impeded itself into your home life. It was like, make room, like, move all of your bedroom stuff around. I have a desk in my room. I didn't have a desk in my room before the pandemic. Now, my already small room has this desk in it. And since then, I haven't gotten rid of it. The desk is still in here taking up space. So you literally, like, your work life literally bogarted itself into your home. And now it's like, stop home life so that I can be work life. Like, it was really challenging and really difficult for many people. And now the reverse is happening. So back to the point that was in my head, that I'm just going to say it. Like I said, I'm not on no conspiracy theory, but you hear the same talks that I'm hearing. You hear the things that's going on that I'm hearing. And they're saying something else is coming. Now, what truth is behind that? I don't know. I can't say. I'm not getting no prophetic download. The Lord is not telling me anything. All I'm having is an aha moment. I'm having an aha moment right here while I'm talking to you. And the aha moment is the executive order comes down, mandating the people to get back into the workplace. What if something else is on the horizon? We have the same issue that we had in 2020. You said it, I didn't, Carol. If you check urgent care, if you check the emergency rooms, we know it's already happening. But some people who aren't in healthcare, they may not realize it. But if you take a moment in time to listen to what some of the healthcare individuals are saying, what they're seeing, it's happening, right? It is. So the executive order comes down, rearranges everyone's lives yet again, pushes everybody back to quote unquote normal. And then something happens and we're right back to where we were. And again, I'm not trying to be conspiracy theorist, but pandemic happened right after the plane crash with Kobe Bryant. That's all. I'm just stating the facts. I'm stating the facts and I'm just putting it out there. It was wild. It was wild. That was a wild year. But how do we protect ourselves? So it's literally my daily prayer. And I say, Lord, how do I prepare? How do I prepare? How do me, Shaniqua, how do I individually prepare? What is it that you need me to do in order to be prepared? And then how do I prepare the ones you've given me charge over? How do I prepare for myself? How do I prepare for my children, my parents, my my circle of influence, my community? How do we prepare? And one of the things that is key is the praying without ceasing. It's being able to commune with God. It's being able to hear from God, even as you're talking to somebody. You're on a live video, you're talking to somebody, but you can still hear. You can still hear in your mind, right? You can still hear. So what is the what is it that you hear? And can you balance what you're hearing, what you're seeing, what God is downloading? Can you manage that with your home life, your work life, your your relationship life, whatever other kind of lives you got going on? Can you manage all of it? So we spoke this week about being a good steward over our now. But can we be efficient managers of every facet of us? Can we be managers of our moments? And that is, and this is one of the things, and I'll share the link to the podcast with you all once it airs. It premieres on Monday, February 3rd. And one of the things that I was talking about is being able to manage your purpose, right? And there was a time in my life where I wasn't doing a very good job at managing my purpose. My purpose took a back seat to my job. My work life and my home life consumed me so much that I barely had time for my purpose. So I barely worked on the business structures that the Lord was giving me. I barely did it. And I was always so super exhausted because I was trying to manage all of these, like I said, like a three-ring circus. You're over here trying to spin the circle over here and tame the lion over here and be on the balance beam over there. Like you got all of these different things going on, and it's difficult to manage. And then something suffers. So what suffers? Your relationships can suffer. So you're so busy trying to be at work, your kids never see you. Your home life is falling apart. You and your spouse are on alternate schedules. And you know, when you are in the house together, you're antsy, you're on edge. You didn't do this, you're snippy, and it's just not conducive. Your health can suffer because you're grinding, you're getting up, you're pushing yourself. I gotta, do this. I gotta do that. I gotta do this. But then you're not taking care of yourself. Oh, I gotta get the kids to school. Oh, I gotta show up to work. But you're sick. You're not feeling good. Your blood pressure's elevated. You're not eating the right things. You're just grabbing and going, and you're going. But where are you going? So you're mismanaging the moment because you're doing all of this excessive stuff and you're negating your purpose. And then that's how, and one of the things that I used to say when I was a little, when I was younger, I was a kid, in fact. And I must have gotten this from what I seen on TV. And one of the things that I used to say was, never do I ever want to be on my deathbed and say, I wish I had done this. And I wish I had done that. I don't know what movie, what TV show I saw, or how many of them that I saw, and that left that impression on me where I didn't want that. And so there was a little something inside of me that would tell me, you got to keep going. You got to keep going, and you got to keep doing, and you got to live your life on purpose. And so I've been in this space where I live my life like I want the experience, like the time that I have, the moment that God has bestowed upon me. I want to utilize that moment doing 100% of what I'm called to do. And I don't want to put my purpose on the back burner, because you never know the day, the time when you won't be able to. So it is about living a purpose-filled life and being a good manager of your moment. Stop waiting until the perfect moment. You make the perfect moment. Stop waiting until you have the money. You find the money for everything else. You literally find the money for everything anything else. Let your kid come home from school with a consent form talking about, oh, the school says I need $50 for this trip. You don't have the money, but you find it. You find it. You talking about you don't have the money to do this, don't you have the money to invest in that, but let you get home late from work. You get home late from work and you're like, oh my God, these people in here need to eat. I bet you find money to go through the fast food drive-through line. You'll find the money. A lot of people miss out on their moments because of money. I don't live like that. I don't live like that. And I'll be honest, when I recently went to the Philippines, my money, mm-mm, mm-mm. I didn't have this excess of money, but I went anyway. Why? Because I wanted to appropriately manage the moment. I believe God was going to show me something, and He has. I believe God was going to do something within me, and He has. For me taking full advantage of me maximizing that moment that was bestowed upon me. But most of the time, what happens is this trip comes up. I'm all excited. Yay, I'm going to take this trip. God's going to do these amazing things. And then I start thinking about money, and then I back out. And then I miss my moment. And my prayer is that the Lord will not allow me to miss any more moments. Not because of money, not because I'm burnt out, not because I'm scared, not because somebody else is controlling me. I don't want to miss out on my moment. I want to be an efficient manager of my moment. And our moment is now. So yes, I'm resting. But when God says, I need you to show up, I need you to do this, I'm going to do it because I'm not going to mismanage the moment. So yes, yesterday I had to say no to coming on the live because I was in this intense pain. But I got up, I got dressed, and I went and I did the podcast. Well, I didn't have to go anywhere but on my computer. But I did the podcast. Why? Because somebody needed to hear the words that the Lord was releasing through me. I am a vessel. I realize that I'm a vessel, so I got to get in position. I got to get in position. And even if there's just one person, I still need to be in position. But I believe God for the maximum. So the reward for the perseverance, the reward for the staying committed to purpose and calling and doing what it is the Lord has ordained you to do, there's a reward from that. And that is what we should seek after. Pressing forward towards the mark of the high calling of Christ Jesus. Pressing forward. Maximizing the moments. Because every day you get up on social media and this one is RIP this one, RIP that one. You got to maximize your moment. And so even with all of this stuff, because there's so much, the executive orders coming down, the changes that is about to happen. There's so much, and as Carol was saying, it's like playing with people's minds. Isn't that what the devil likes? The devil likes warfare in the mind. Why? Because he doesn't have to touch you. He doesn't have to touch you. But if he can get these thoughts in your mind, you will implode all by yourself. He don't have to come up and hit you upside the head. He don't have to come up and hit you upside the head. He don't have to trip you up on your feet. If he can get into your mind, he's like, hands off. I didn't do nothing. What happened? I didn't do nothing. It wasn't me. Oh, it was you. It was you. Exactly. So how do we prepare? And if you haven't asked God that this today, you better stop where you're at before you do anything else. I know you got a meeting. I know, you got to go get this client here, there, and everywhere. But if you haven't asked God, how would you like me to prepare for today? Then you got to go back to the drawing board. You got to go back to the drawing board. And you need to ask God, Lord, how do I prepare my mind for this moment? How do I prepare my heart for this moment? And the moment is not just now. The moment is the extension of the now. It's the now and it's the what comes after that. That's the moment. So how do we prepare? Sure, we want to know, how do we prepare for the future? But what about the immediate moment? What about the immediate moment? Carol, the child, you preaching, you preaching. And we would all be wise to do the same thing if we don't anchor our souls, if we don't anchor ourselves in God the Father, in Jesus Christ the Son, if we don't anchor ourselves in the Holy Trinity, we are not safeguarded. We are not protected. We're going to be easily manipulated. We're going to be easily distracted. We're going to be easily caught off guard. We're going to be so prefixed and preoccupied on every other minute entity that we totally miss the mark. We miss the moment. So it is about being constant, being consistent, and seeking after God every day, all day, every day. Okay, God, what you want me to do now? What you want me to say next? I got them on live, Lord. What's next? I get on here and I have no clue. No, some days I have a clue, but most days I don't have a clue as to what's going to come out of my mouth. So it's always funny when I'm setting up this live stream, it asks you and it mandates you to put in a title and a description. And I'm like, I don't know what the title is. I don't know what the description is until after I open up my mouth and the Lord allows whatever he allows to come up. So this morning I put hot pack on. I'm ready to take on the day. Okay, that sounds like a wild title, but that's where I was at that moment. But it's not until I get in position and the release and the warning and the gentle nudging comes forward. So today we need to learn how to sync our hearts and our minds, to have this continual conversation. That's the praying without ceasing. It's the keeping the continuous conversation going on. Heart, mind, God, God, heart, God, mind, heart, mind, God. Like, how do we keep this continual conversation going so that we hear, we see what it is that we need to do for the moment, and we're able to manage it and maximize it for the purpose. for the purpose. So I'm grateful to God that I'm feeling better and that I am able to continue to maximize the moment. Even lying in bed, thanks be unto God, I don't have to go to someone's place of employment. Some type of executive decision says that I have to go and do this, that, and the other. I thank God that I'm in a season where I don't have to do that. Now, will that always be the case? I don't know. But at this moment, I don't. So I do get a chance to rest. But then I'm like, oh my God, my business. I got to do my business. Okay. You have to learn how to manage your business, sis, and your life and your healing and your rest. You got to be an efficient manager of all of those entities. You can't just say, well, to heck with the rest because I got to work. No, that doesn't do. That's not going to work. So we have to make certain that we are these effective managers of everything. Yes, you and others have been preparing us since last year to anchor down ourselves. I'm telling you, Carol, I'm glad you're catching it. And then you're able to do the same for other people. So it's like an each one teach one. So we're all going forward. We're all playing our part until the people are ready. So today I say, let's get this connection going so we don't miss the moment. We don't miss the moment. And I don't want you all to miss the moment tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on my YouTube channel, Shaniqua Inspires with the Black Girl. Encourage her. I'm excited about tonight's conversation with Latricia Lofton. And she's got this ministry that is dealing with beauty pageants. And she's going to share with us some really key conversations that is going to help us, right? And the reason why, I'm doing this podcast not just because I like to talk and I got something to say. This is ministry. There's something that the Lord needs you to hear. And when you are consistent, right? When you start being constant in your actions, when you consistently show up every Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, then you don't miss a moment. You don't miss a moment. You say, okay, Lord, well, I sit and I listen to Shaniqua, Monday through Fridays on her morning walking talks. And I usually get something out of it. That's why I keep coming back. Well, don't miss the maximizing of it. And how to maximize that is the ministry of the Black Girl Encourager on Thursday nights. Get in there. See what you're going to learn from other individuals. It's the wellness encounter, the weekly newsletter that comes out on Wednesday. What's in there? So we need to learn how to maximize our connections. If you're connected to me, you should be connected into all of these vessels that the Lord has partnered me with. Exactly, Carol. It's ministry on the go. I mean, if you can't watch the Black Girl Encourage Her live at 7 p.m. on Thursdays, okay. What you doing Friday? What you doing Saturday? What you doing Sunday? What you doing at work on Monday for your lunch break? Are you just sitting staring into space, or are you going to enrich your mind? Are you going to enrich your body? Are you going to enrich your heart? You're going to listen. Are you going to finally tune your ears to be able to pick out what God wants you to hear in mid conversations? So yes, you're watching me, just rambling on these morning walking talks, but your ears should be in tune. Your ears should be in tune. Again, you've got that connection going. Heart, mind, God, mind, heart. You've got this connection going. Well, you're hearing me speak. You're watching me laying in the bed and looking fabulous, But what are you hearing? And if you're only hearing me, you're kind of missing the moment. You're not maximizing the moment. You're not managing the moment if you're only hearing me. You're not effectively managing the moment. When your boss is talking on the job, if they got you sitting through this grueling presentation, you're missing the moment. If all you hear is the person going, wah, 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 you're totally missing it. What is God saying? And when you are praying without ceasing, it means the communication is ever constant. It's a continual flow of conversation. And so you should be able to continually flow with conversation to God, even if your kid is pulling at your your arm. I hear you. I know you want to stop at McDonald's, but I'm also hearing God saying, don't you give that baby no McDonald's. That stuff gonna kill y'all. But a lot of times we stifle out the voice of God because we want to do what we want to do in the moment. So I hope that I see you all tonight for the Black Girl Encourage Her. Set your alarm clocks if you need to, because you know us multifaceted people got to set alarms. We need those ringers to go off and say, girl, you got someplace to be. So set your alarm to remind you to be right here on my YouTube channel, Shaniqua Inspires, at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so that you get the goods that are going to be prophetically downloaded from the Black Girl Encourage Her. Amen, amen, amen. And if you haven't looked at the wellness encounter that went out on yesterday, go in your email inbox, check your junk mail, and see if the wellness encounter is there. If it's not there, you need to message me and let me know so we can get it coming to you with no issues. This week, we spoke about thyroid illness, and many people have thyroid conditions and don't even realize it. So the teaching is there. You got a healthy recipe. So you're on your new year, new me kick, and you talking about, oh, I'm running out of stuff to eat. Well, you get healthy recipes every week. So stay connected. You got 100 affirmations. You got 100 A Better You affirmations right there in the wellness encounter. Click it, start reading it. Click it, download it. Right? Print it out, put it up on your wall. So you have 100 affirmations to speak life so that you can become a better you. Again, we're clicking out of survival mode and going into thriving mode for 2025. So those 100 A Better You affirmations are there for you right there in the wellness encounter. But you miss it because you're so busy. And you ain't busy doing nothing but mismanaging the moment. So I don't want you, not on my watch, I don't want you mismanaging the moment. So make certain you read the wellness encounter, make certain you check out the Black Girl Encourage Her, because there is something in it for you. I promise you there is something in it for you. It certainly can. It certainly can, Carol. The thyroid can affect your blood pressure. And many people are running around with their blood pressure high and they talking about, I don't know why. I don't know what's going on. You gotta pay attention. You got to pay attention to the cues of your body. But if you don't know, then you're misguided and you're not managing the moment. So the Wellness Encounter has the Wellness Encounter blog inside of it, where you're getting a deep dive into health and well-being. So read it. It's not a long read. It'll probably take you like 5-10 minutes. Commit 5 to 10 minutes. That's how you maximize the connection. We're connected. You show up faithfully here to hear me yammer on until the Lord kicks in prophetically with something good for you to hear. So don't mismanage the moment. All right. That's all for now. You all have a beautiful and blessed day. Enjoy, enjoy, enjoy. If today is your Friday, you the real MVP. But for those of you that have to press forward until the real Friday, you can hang in there. You can make it. And prayerfully, I will be back up and on the line with you tomorrow, God willing. And we're going to proceed with this day. But I'm going to see you all tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Black Girl Encourage Her. So meet me in a live chat. We're going to chat some more over there. But until then, you all have a beautiful, blessed, and abundant day. Stay safe. Take care. Thank you so much, Carol. Thank you, everyone. Take care.